We're live.
Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourselves in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to another exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This afternoon's scene will be set in Carpe Dominatus, where Liam Saltmoore has been enjoying a pleasant evening of wine, women, and song, shall we say. He currently has at least one rather attractive lady dressed in a corset with her leg draped across both of his legs, as she is very casually refilling his whiskey glass.
I say, it's good the new batch of clientele you've gotten in here. Better than the leather-bound clad that or whatever, the leather-bound cast that you have most of the nights.
She shrugs and she says, "Oh, they're downstairs.
Oh, of
We
course.
We like to keep some rooms for our elite customers, Mr. Saltmoore."
Oh, yes, thank you. Another, and he, says some almost impronounceable Irish word that is a brand of expensive whiskey.
She'll nod before she'll basically stand up and start padding towards the bar.
He finishes the glass that she just poured for him while she walks over to the bar to get him another.
Okay. I emphasize you do not see this. Basically, Gravedigger will say from beside you, he wasn't sitting there a moment ago. So he's now, this will scare the sweepy Jesus out of you. He says, well, how interesting.
I'll crush the glass in my hand and take, point of damage or something. Oh!
So jumpy.
Well, there have been a series of murders.
He smiles and he strokes your face before he pats you on the cheek as he says, "I assure you, Mr. Saltmoore, if my intention was to murder you, you wouldn't see me coming."
Well, that is clear.
So, have there been any further developments as far as you've been able to tell down at the docks? There haven't.
Yes, I have been having my men watch the docks, and nothing out of the ordinary, nothing not predicted in my ledgers.
I still need to... Gravedigger nods as he takes one of his long black fingernails and kind of taps it under his lip as he says, "Now that's interesting because, how's a phrase? Well, we're still missing a gigantic crate that I have no idea the contents of, which is interesting. Because whenever things come in illegally, be they drugs, guns, anything, I end up hearing about it. But I've heard nothing about this."
Yes, and it would be, it's quite strange that, what's his name? The police officer who had his brains blown out investigating the crate seems to, well, he doesn't seem to be working too very hard on that case.
From what I'm led to understand, he's not very much of a police officer.
Yes, from what I've observed, he's not very much of a police officer.
There's one person who might be able to give us answers. But if I go to him, that means I have to go to him, if you understand me.
Yes, I believe so.
You see Gravedigger kind of lean back in his chair as the girl returns with your whiskey. Gravedigger will very casually wave his hand, and the girl will kind of give a slight bow before she'll walk to entertain another gentleman as she sets your whiskey down on the table.
That one does remind me of my dear late Bedelia.
Gravedigger kind of cocks his head to the side as if he's thinking. He doesn't appear to have heard what you've said.
Okay.
Or he doesn't give any mention to it. As he says, "Right. Okay. Well, we've got choices. Options, I guess. So, the question becomes... By the way, I've got a question.
Yes, of course.
When was the last time you saw the weather forecast?
Yesterday?
Still more rain? Yes.
Yes. But is that anything out of the ordinary here? We are very close to the water.
When it's been raining for nearly 2 weeks solid, yes, that's somewhat unusual.
I suppose you're right. I did have a spot of trouble with mud on my way over here.
Right. Well, I guess we'll have to fucking chance it.
Anyway,
How sober are you in a scale of 1 to fucked?
I am at the level of soberness that you are accustomed to seeing me at.
Right. Yeah. So I can ask you to drive, but not perform heart surgery.
Of course. Well,
Excellent.
only because I don't really know anything about heart surgery. But yes, I could easily drive to wherever you need to go, as long as it's on this plane of existence.
Do you want me to teach you to drive on another plane of existence?
Yes.
Right. Put a pin in that one. That one's going to be fun.
He makes a note in his phone.
Okay. He'll say, "No, I'm not going anywhere, but you are." Mostly because it would be easier if you make the request to this chap rather than me going. However, I will give you this. You see, as Gravedigger basically takes out a piece of paper and a pen from the inside of his jacket, and he will scribble something on it. What kind of scribble? Before he'll hand it to you, and he'll say, "Don't read this, but give it to the person at this address." He'll write an address, and he'll say, "Ask to speak to." Let me think. What's his name these days? Ask to speak to Crossboy. They'll get it.
Yes. All right. He tucks the letter into his pocket. Where am I going?
There's, how do I describe it? It was a church at one point. It's now some kind of youth culture center, I believe. It's out in Ballymun. He says, "Throw me a phone."
All right. I'll just hand him my phone.
You'll enter it in on your GPS.
All right. Cool.
Tell him that we're looking for information as it pertains to the. Tell him about the incident down at the docks and say that we're looking for anyone who's trying to move something like that, something large or something. Right. I'm not the only one. That struck me as being horribly illegal if they're willing to ventilate the brains of a fucking cop in order to find, right?
Yes. The cop is of the opinion that it is some sort of enchanted BDSM equipment. So perhaps armor or weapons?
He kind of gives you a face palm moment as he says, "No, he thinks it's enchanted BDSM equipment because he thinks it's me who's doing it."
And he'll try really hard not to laugh.
Mm-hmm. He's a fucking moron.
Yes, well, he's confusing me quite.
I pointed him at the fucking warehouse and everything. Jesus Christ. Right. Okay. Well, you go and see to that then, and when you come back, I'll make sure that Elena is suitably receptive to your masculine charms.
Oh, I don't really need any help with that, but thank you. And he gets up and cracks his back and swaggers out.
Oh, take Rufus with you just in case.
Oh, yes. All right. And he goes and he grabs Rufus by the back of the collar and he's like, "All right, my boy, special assignment from the boss. Let's go."
Oh, right. We're going to go do a thing, are we? Cool.
Yes.
He'll hand off his clipboard to one of the other bouncers, and he'll kind of settle into the passenger seat of the car. He's a big guy. He is a big guy.
Yeah, my car is a small car.
That's fine. As I said, now that you think about it, it has been raining an awful lot recently. As in, when Gravedigger said it's been raining for 2 weeks solid, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
That's a lot of rain.
It is a lot of rain. So I guess, I'll be driving, or Big Fish will be driving a small car with the large man in the passenger seat over to the youth center. And just kind of staring at the clouds and realizing that there's not even really any breaks in them. It's just layers of cloud upon cloud, pouring rain. And he'll realize that, or he'll just kind of muse to himself that this would be the perfect weather for vampires or other creatures of the night because he can't remember a time in the past, over 2 weeks that he has seen the sunshine.
Mm. Rufus will be quite quiet unless you actually want to talk to him about anything.
No, not really. I feel like this is our relationship.
That's fair. You will proceed to pull up on the youth center. The youth center itself stands. It's clearly an old church, and it stands at the bottom of basically there's a residential street at which the church sits at the end, and then there's a large house on a hill that overlooks the church, almost like some kind of like manor house or large some kind of large domicile of some kind, but it's clearly quite old. Rufus will step out of the car as he cracks all the knuckles on his left hand by flicking it. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's really freaky.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And he says, "So, this is the place then?"
Yes. We're looking for a Mr. Crossboy.
Rufus shrugs and he says, "Right, okay then. We go into the door, or we going through the door?"
Let's try going to the door first.
Well, yeah, as you say, Mr. Saltmoore.
I'll take the lead on this one, Rufus, but yes, please be ready to back me up.
You see him very casually put a hand into one pocket. That is all.
All right. So I guess we'll go to the door of we're closer to the church, right? We have to go up a path or something to get to the house.
Yeah, basically there's a path that you see loops off around the side of the youth center up to a relatively high, you'd say about 10-foot high wall behind a set of cast iron gates.
Okay. So I mean, is the door of the youth center church thing open?
It's closed, and it does have a closed sign at the moment hanging in one of the windows, but there are lights on.
Okay. Is there a buzzer or I guess I could knock?
There's a door knocker.
Yeah, so I'll knock.
Give me just a moment, please. You hear for a couple of moments there's movement, the sound of mooching around inside, before a rather attractive young lady, dressed in a full suit with a silver chain pocket watch, opens the door.
Oh, good evening. Or good afternoon, I suppose. Right? Is it nighttime or what time is it?
It's evening time. It's about 8 o'clock.
Okay. Good evening.
Hello, sir.
My name is Liam Saltmoore. I'm here to speak to a Mr. Crossboy.
She quirks an eyebrow. Did Gravedigger send you?
Yes.
Well, she'll say, "My name is Elizabeth St. Martin, sir. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance."
Oh, likewise.
She'll extend a hand.
I'll shake it. And this is my associate, Rufus.
Rufus will kind of give a half bow as she says, "Oh, I know Rufus. It is very nice to see you again, sir." "The same, Miss Martin. Now then, for the record, his name's not Crossboy. My employer has his eccentricities, but then again, so does yours."
Oh, yes, I understand. What is his name so that I might not offend him?
If he wants to tell you his name, he will tell you his name.
All right, then.
My apologies, he's not currently here. He's up at the house. Would you care to follow me, please?
Of course.
She will proceed to kind of sidestep you and will walk out of the door you just came in before, when you've all filed out, she will close and lock the door behind her as she pads up to the house. This woman is very attractive. She has I'll tell you right now, she has appearance 4 with a specialty in with a specialty in sexual.
All right.
So as you walk
Try my
close
best to not stare at her bum.
you can do so if you want. So I don't think she doesn't really seem to care.
Yes, but I am a classy shipping magnate.
Okay. As you proceed to get closer to the gate rather, she pushes a button on what is clearly Sorry, I'm just seeing if the person I'm waiting for has arrived. 1 second, please.
Okay, no problem.
Nope. She pushes a button, and the pair of cast iron gates will swing open. She says, "Modern technology is wonderful, don't you agree, Mr. Saltmoore?"
Yes, I am trying my best to keep myself updated with the latest technology, but it is quite a daunting task as fast as it's coming out these days.
She nods and she says, "In that case, the master and you should get along rather well."
Bully.
She will walk towards the main door of the house, which she will once again open with a button press. Which is unusual, bear in mind, this looks like a kind of your classic 18th century estate, but as you walk inside, you see the kind of ultra-modern, kind of high-tech conveniences.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm into it. Big Fish is into it.
She will lead you into a parlor, into a sitting room that's just... There is a grand sweeping staircase that sweeps up into two wings, so one hand going to the left, that splits into two wings, one going to the left, one going to the right.
Mm-hmm.
The carpet on the floor is a burgundy red, that proceeds up the stairs, and then it's a strip carpet. So then on either side, there's white mosaic tiles on the floor. Clearly, a lot of money and effort has gone into the room itself. You then are brought into a small parlor-like antechamber where there's a set of comfortable chairs, a large roaring fire, and there's a lot of books in the shelves. But there's also flat screen TVs, and rather than having pictures hung in the room, there are actual, they're basically digital photos, photo frames that actually have digital pictures that are flicking. She says
they change or whatever.
They change intermittently, yeah.
That's cool.
And she says, "If you wouldn't mind waiting here, may I offer some refreshments?"
Just water, please.
Very good, sir.
Thank you.
Rufus will shake his head.
I'm going to peruse the bookshelf while she goes to get water. It would appear that Evan's computer repairman has arrived. And so...
sorry, just a moment. I just have to see something.
Yeah. So it would appear that Evan's repairman has arrived, and perhaps it is time to cut this scene short. We will see you again in part 2, where we will find out the stunning answer to the question of whether Big Fish got his water. If it was refreshing, was it tap? Was it filtered? Was it sparkling? Did Big Fish fly into a rage from being served sparkling water and burn the estate to the ground? Will Rufus ever find love? Find out next time on Darkness in Dublin.